All right, folks, back here for another podcast. I got Jeff Bulch, back on.
Hey
Um,
guys,
it's been a minute since our
it's been a
last one.
minute.
Yeah. All right, for those who don't know, Jeff Bulch, founder of BaseMap, the brains behind the greatest hunting app in the world, is back on here. And today we're going to cover a bunch of stuff. So last time Jeff was on, it was kind of beginning of the year. We had just done a survey to our users, got a ton of great feedback, right? And that kind of set our priorities for the year. So, one thing that folks who are using BaseMap and watching this out there should know is like we're a pretty small company. We listen a lot to our users. The feedback we get from you guys, whether it's in, support tickets or stuff you were to post on social media, like we listen to what it is that you're interested in and improvements you want to see to the app, and that pretty much informs what we do, as well as like a couple projects that we just think we need because as hunters, it's features that really would benefit us and others out in the field. So,
Yep. Yeah,
um,
that was a great survey. We got a lot of really good feedback. So I thank all of you guys for taking the time. I guess it's been when we do that February, we kind of
I
got
think it
all
was
the
February.
results compiled.
Yeah,
So just want to thank everybody again for sharing their feedback and just all the reach outs, on social and emails and calls and texts. And you guys are awesome for giving your feedback, and we're very appreciative of that, and we definitely listen. So
yeah,
we're gonna kind of go through what some of those items are, and what we've got, coming down the
yeah.
pipeline, what we've been working on, things we're trying to get done before hunting season. And as you all know, that's coming really quick.
Very
We're
quick.
only a few weeks away now from archery season. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some of what's been going on, and what's to come.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let's dive in because we got a lot to cover, man. So one of the things that came out of the survey is that people were like, hey, some folks are like, I wish I could talk to a person. I want to be able to not just get an email response. Now, when I say we're small, we're small. Like there's four of us that are, really dedicated full time working on this day in, day out. And so while, our main man, Chris, is running customer support kind of day in, day out, I might jump in there, Jeff might jump in there. So, you know, email is the easiest for us because we also have a lot of other stuff that we're trying to do. But we're going to add a talk with Matt button to the support page.
Sweet.
So, yeah, yeah, Jeff's like, great. I'm glad it's not a talk with Jeff. No, Jeff loves getting feedback from you guys and talking with you. But if you have like a product request, you're just really pissed off and you want to, yell at me, like this is your opportunity to do that. So, or you want to give us kudos and say how much you love the BaseMap app. We love that too. But we'll put that on the website, and we're probably the only hunting app out there where if you want to jump on and talk to me about something related to the app, like I'm happy to do it. So we'll add that. I think we also have a phone number that we'll put out there too. We haven't had that for a while. It's probably going to be mostly call backs, so you'll have to leave us a message, and then we'll give you a ring back, unless somebody's not like deep into something at that moment. But those were things that you guys wanted. We want to, we're striving to be better at customer service and support. So we're listening. We might be a little slow, but like we have dense heads, right, Jeff? You and I.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes a while to get through. All right.
Yeah, we on the small company point, you know, I would compare, some other apps in this space probably have, I don't know, hundreds of employees, right? So,
Yeah. Yep.
we do have a lot on our plate, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be listening and taking calls and stuff. So, um, we'll have that button up on the website probably probably in the next week, definitely before hunting season start opening up. So look for that on the website, and yeah, you'll be able to reach out and talk to Matt or I, and probably as Matt said, not another hunting app where you can call and talk to the founder or the CEO. So pretty cool that we can do that. So looking forward
Yeah.
to hearing from you guys.
Yep. Right on, man. All right. Well, updates. We've been working on a lot of updates. So, this might be too much inside baseball for some of you, but you know, our like when you look at the BaseMap app, when you think about BaseMap, for most of you, you're just like, oh, it's my Android app or it's the app on my iPhone. Some of you use, the app on your phone, plus you use the desktop website. For us, it's like each of those is a separate platform that we have to maintain, get updates to, try to keep in sync so that they generally have the same features. So, anyways, as we kind of go through these, we're going to cover iOS updates that we've been working on, Android updates, web updates, and then just kind of talk about some stuff that's coming soon. But definitely been working on a lot of updates across all the platforms. Um, let's hit iOS first,
Yeah.
since there's a lot of iOS users out there. So we one thing that we heard last hunting season is that we had some users having issues with location sharing. So it wasn't always reliable. You get kind of intermittent updates, depending on, who you were sharing with and all this stuff. So we spent a lot of time in the off season making location sharing bulletproof on iOS. So when you're in the field, if you're sharing location with somebody, it doesn't matter if they're on iOS or Android, you'll get those updates. You'll see the updates on the phone. You'll see the user move, their marker moving on the device, and you won't have to worry about it working. So we've done a lot of work there. It's fun to do the testing because we've got three of us doing testing in three different locations. Like, I'm here in just outside of Fayetteville, Arkansas. Jeff, you're up in Sandpoint, and then
Yeah.
where's Dave at?
Sandpoint, Idaho. Dave's in Washington.
Washington. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so we're testing it, and we're walking around. Like, I'm always walking up and down my road, getting a workout, doing that testing. But it's been fun. I feel like it's pretty solid. How about you?
Yeah, it's definitely better than it was. Appreciate you guys letting us know that, there was some times where you weren't getting those updates. Just keep in mind that feature is dependent on connectivity, so you do have to have
Yeah.
cell service for that to work. So your front country hunting areas, more than likely you're going to have service, and that's a great way to keep in tabs kind of where your hunting partner or your kid is. Your backcountry areas, probably out west, a lot of those areas aren't going to have service.
Yep.
But I will say, from even just a couple of years ago, areas where I've hunted where there was not service, now there is. So it's getting to be, a lot better coverage in those backcountry areas. So definitely take advantage of the location sharing feature. Just keep it on. It'll send your location to your friend every 30 seconds. So and then if you do lose service, they'll still be able to see where your last known location was. So if,
Yep.
if anything were to happen, at least they have a starting point of where to come look for you. So definitely take advantage of that feature this fall.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a pro feature. So, for you freeloaders, I mean free users, you won't have access to that one. We do give you access to quite a few other features. But that
Yeah.
one that's a paid feature only. And I'm glad that you brought up the fact that it's, you got to have connectivity. So let me hit on a couple things there. One, obviously satellite connectivity is like a thing that's starting to become a reality. T-Mobile rolled out a satellite network. Obviously, iOS has kind of their satellite messaging too. So we are actively trying to figure out how to make sure that you know as many features as possible could function through those satellite networks. So we're doing our reach out, trying to figure out, is there a way that BaseMap could operate more like online, even when you have just a satellite connection, if you have one of those satellite enabled devices. Don't have anything there yet, but you know next year it might be a very, very different landscape in that space.
Yeah, that's some exciting technology for hunters, especially backcountry hunters. That's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Having connectivity all the time, just for safety purposes is pretty amazing. But the connectivity to do all these other features and functionality of the app, that'd be pretty incredible. So that's something we're definitely working on and trying to make happen for you guys.
Yep, yep. And then obviously with our, super, super awesome with our partner Global Rescue, because for me, like one of the big benefits of, doing a Garmin or a Spot or Zoleo or something like that, right, was kind of that insurance package, if you will, knowing that if I got injured out there, I'd have like life flight, search and rescue, whatever, which are, Advantage and Ultimate members have through search and rescue. So if you toss in, being able to do satellite connectivity, like
Yeah.
then you'd always have coverage because you'd always, be able to message just on your device. Obviously, you still have that coverage today if you're, um, back in the back country, but you'd have to have a separate device to be able to message to Global Rescue. Some people do, some people don't. So,
Yeah.
cool. So that's a big one. The other thing on iOS that we've been working on is some bug fixes on the hunt planner. So there's, some edge cases that miss our testing. Like I think it was, if you're in the map and then you went to the list view and you sorted, there was like this little bug that would pop up. That stuff's annoying. We know, we get the tickets and we try to work and fix those as fast as possible. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one's fixed. Some notification fixes. Those were, some pop-ups that some folks would get needlessly, just like what do we call those? Toast messages? Is that what it
Yeah.
is? Yeah.
That's the
Um,
nerdy developer name for them, I think.
yeah, yeah. So we got rid of some of that as well. Um, so yeah, iOS should generally um, be more stable in those areas. Now, the one caveat, because some of you listening probably got our most recent iOS update and are angry with us potentially. We were fielding some quite a few support tickets with our last iOS update. There was an issue where we pushed out an update and it was causing some app crashing, so you had to uninstall, reinstall, which is a pain in the butt. We apologize for that. Definitely, hoping to not have that ever happen again. But
Yeah.
for those of you who message us on the support side, like, it should be resolved. If it's not, obviously hit us up at support@basemap.com. We'll get it all resolved. So
Yep.
shooting for the
Yeah.
best experience possible there.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, iOS is just a lot better now, a lot more stable. So going into hunting season, we're confident, you guys are gonna, get the most out of the app, and hopefully it's gonna help you on your hunts this fall. So definitely share those with us and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so that's kind of everything on iOS so far. We've got, some other stuff coming out. There's like an update to the search feature that we've got coming out, and we're just going to be doing some other testing around offline maps and stuff, making sure everything's solid before hunting season starts. But it's looking like it's in pretty good shape. So Android updates. So again, location tracking, just another thing that we've been spending a lot of time with. Those updates should come out in our next release to make sure that Android's as solid as possible for location tracking, so that, again, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, you'll get updates, you'll get notifications, you'll see your buddies moving on the map, all of that good stuff. This is one to note. There's still some unknowns on this next one, but Android 16. Jeff, how much do you love the different operating systems?
It's a love-hate relationship, Android, they try to make things better, and they kind of put out these updates and they break a lot of stuff, and then we have to figure out, how to creatively fix those really quick, so you guys aren't having issues. There's usually some 4-letter words that go along with Android updates, but we usually get it taken care of pretty quickly. Yeah, it's always a challenge with Android, but keeps us on our toes.
It does. So this is not this isn't a base map issue. This is every single app developer in the universe issue. iOS and Android, those are your two main operating systems for your mobile devices, your cell phones, right? They tend to do one major software update per year. So, and then they'll do a bunch of little minor ones, but they'll do like, you move from iOS 17 to iOS 18. iOS 18 is what a lot of iOS users are on now. Apple will be releasing iOS 19, soon. Android, most users are on 14 and 15. 16 is out for Google Pixel users, but 16 will start rolling out probably during hunting season for a lot of other platforms like your Samsung devices. It just kind of depends on the carrier and the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer. So when they release those updates, that can break stuff in our app sometimes. Now we try to test it and confirm that everything's working on simulator devices that we can use, but sometimes there's stuff that the simulators just don't catch. And if we don't have one of those devices on the latest operating system, it's hard for us to test. So Android actually released 16 pretty early. It's already out there live on Pixel devices, and some Pixel users were having issues. So we got that fixed. We hope our testing, it looks like everything else is functioning correctly in the app. But if you find a feature, suddenly in the next couple months that used to work and now it's not working, let us know right away. Obviously, we're trying to do testing as much as we can, but it could very well be that your device got an Android 16 update from either your carrier or your equipment manufacturer, and that could be the reason why something stops stops working, and then we'll dive in and try to fix it. But
Yeah, I would recommend too, like I have a Samsung device and it'll let me know like there's an update.
yeah,
And if you get that notification and you're going on a hunt, or
yeah,
you need the app to perform, just hold off on that update.
until you
Um,
get back. Yep.
yeah, just hold off on it, because like Matt said, sometimes it can break things. They change how the system works. We try to do a lot of pre-testing on that, but sometimes we just can't catch every device and how they work. So
Yep.
yeah, hold off on those updates if you know you're going to be going out in the field and relying on the app.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, cool. And then, kind of similar, we're working on notifications again. There was just a lot of areas where we had notifications popping up in the app that were kind of not necessarily needed, especially in offline mode on Android,
Yeah.
where it was kind of annoying. So
Yeah.
getting rid of some of those little UI issues. Um, and then let's hit web. So and actually this is a big update that's coming across all platforms that we've been working on, around layer rendering and loading. So, one complaint that we've heard on and off over the years is the speed at which layers render. So there's a lot of different reasons why layers could be slow. Could be your connection speed. It could be something on our back end and our servers that are helping render those layers. It could be something in the app, right? The way that the app was written. And so um, that's like one of the obviously layers just need to load, and they need to load fast, right?
Yeah.
When you zoom in and out, like you want to see whatever layers you have turned on, you want them to render quickly and be visible. And so we've done a lot to re-architecture that, and both on kind of the server side, right, our back end, if you will, and on your devices, whether that be iOS, Android, or on your desktop or laptop. And so all of the platforms it's out on web. It will be released on both iOS and Android very soon here. That we're moving to a different layer rendering methodology, where basically, um, once that layer has been rendered one time in the area you're looking, that is effectively cached and stored. And unless we do an update to that layer that changes the boundaries or something, it's there and it will be available to view like that on any of your devices. It's
Yeah,
also
it's quick.
it's quick. It's very quick. And the cool thing is we're leveraging some cloud architecture here, where basically those layers they're effectively little images that get loaded on your device. They're stored, geographically all over the U.S. in like 26 different locations, and so it should be really fast to load on your device when you call, you're zooming in and out on your layers. So
Yep.
that should be just a much better experience, for everybody, everywhere, which I'm excited about. There's also some cost savings for us, so we like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we've been testing it and it's snappy. Nobody likes slow maps. It's a noticeable improvement from where it was. So excited to
yeah,
get that update out to you guys.
yep, it's good stuff. So that's across all platforms, out there on web today. The other thing that is out there on web today that we released is the Hunt Planner. The desktop hunt planner.
Desktop hunt planner.
Yeah. So, we released the mobile hunt planner last year. Got, quite a bit of good feedback there. Also some bugs that we had to fix, but we now have it available on desktop. So I know, some people were holding off. They're like, I like my mobile device. I like the idea of being able to plan hunts, but when I really get down to doing research in a state, like I want a nice big screen to look at and a big map to look at. And so that is out and available now. If you log into app.basemap.com on your laptop or desktop, you'll see the hunt planner there on the top left. It's a tab you can click on. So
I've been using it a lot.
yeah, me too. I was doing it the other day. I got a hunt in Colorado planning, and then I'm gonna go do some offline testing later this week. And so the part of the national forest just south of me that I'm gonna go into, I'm kind of thinking about bear. I don't know if I'll be able to bear hunt there or not. So in Arkansas, our Arkansas fall black bear season, I think it opens on the 17th this year. It opens on like Wednesday. Um, and then in the zone that I'm in, zone 1, there's, I think it's usually a 400 bear quota. And depending on, I don't know if it's a good mast crop year or not. Like if we got a lot of acorns or acorns, as they say down
Acorns.
here, acorns, then the bears don't go to bait on private. So you can only bait on private, can't bait on public. And so that quota doesn't fill real fast, but like the last couple of years, it's filled in like 3 days. And so, yeah, the problem is I'm gonna leave for Colorado on like Sunday. And so like, well, I don't know that I just don't know time wise, like, family, little kids, gotta help with them. And can I go run around the forest for a couple days and then disappear for a week to Colorado? Probably not. And season will be closed by the time I get back. So,
dang, you'll have to come out to Idaho and do some bear hunting.
yeah, I should, because
you don't mind fending off the grizzly bears.
well, not not if they take you first. I'm okay.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah. So yeah, anyways, been looking at that, which is awesome. Awesome to have the real estate there of the hunt planner to kind of look around. So, all right. And then, yeah, just the other thing we've got, and we'll do a bigger announcement about this, but it's out there on the web now, is we've got an integration with our partner Land Trust. And Land Trust, for folks who aren't familiar with it, it's kind of like Airbnb for private land access. So a lot of folks are probably familiar with like a lease, and usually leasing private land is a long term, like you lease it for a season or a year or something like that. And it costs some serious bucks, like $5,000-$10,000 a year, whatever. It might be a lot, right? Stuff that a lot of folks can't afford. Land Trust is like day or weekend, or they have kind of what they call packages. So it could be, a couple days for a couple people, basically access to different private land hunting ground. So check that out. It's a great way to potentially get access to an area for a short period of time that your wallet can afford, and get you on, some good deer, elk, whatever it might be, birds. They got fishing, all types of stuff. So the cool thing is, if you're a subscriber to BaseMap, you get a huge discount. So you'll see a promo code load when you go to look at one of these packages, and basically they're waiving what they call the booking fees. So a booking fee is like generally 15% cost of the actual package. So if it's $1,000, it's $150 off that. So pretty cool deal.
Yeah, great deal. You guys definitely check out the Land Trust feature on the web, and we'll have that on mobile eventually, but definitely check it out. There's a lot of properties that Land Trust has available, like a lot.
Yeah.
And probably they have some pretty close to you and pretty reasonable. And as we all know, hunting spots are getting tougher by the year. So definitely check them out. And I think you'll be impressed with what Land Trust has available to you guys there.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty awesome. All right. So that's kind of, those are the main updates that we have out so far. We expect you're going to have a great hunting experience this year with BaseMap, with the work that we've been doing in the off season to just make things faster, make sure all the features are working exactly like they should. And then, so that was like the main thing everybody said from the survey. It was like, let's just, if there's anything that's not working, let's get that fixed. Let's get the app snappy and working. And then we had a section where it was kind of, if we added some new features, what would you want? And Jeff and I were pretty surprised about this. People really wanted group subscriptions. It was like
that one was interesting, but it was a lot of you wanted group subscriptions, so we put our heads down and got to work on that one.
Yeah, so group subscriptions are coming. We'll I think the development we should be able to test, I hope, by the end of the week, maybe next week, group subscriptions. And then as soon as, we've confirmed that that's working awesome, we'll get that rolled out. And that'll be I'll call it, I guess it'd be what we would technically call that a desktop or mobile feature. Like when you're going through the checkout process through our website, not through Apple or not through Google, that's kind of a nightmare to do group subscriptions there for us. But through our website, you'll be able to basically buy like a package of subscriptions, and we're offering a substantial discounts.
Yeah, pretty nice discount if you get a group sub.
Yeah, so if you do a group sub, I'm trying to remember what we priced. I think it's a 20% discount for 2 to 4. And then is it 25 or 30?
25, I believe.
Okay.
Maybe it's 30.
It might be 30.
Yeah.
At 5 or more subscriptions. So if you and a buddy are, if you got a buddy out there who's using some corporate mapping solution, I'll say some big mapping solution, since we're one of 2, maybe 3 mapping companies left that aren't part of kind of a conglomerate or a large venture capital firm. Like we're offering a pretty good discount, so hopefully you can get your buddy to come over to BaseMap and check it out. 20% off if it's just one. You got a couple guys coming over, you get 5 of you, you're going to get 30% off, and that's on each of those subscriptions, right? So it's a pretty good deal. It'll be really easy to manage too. Jeff is like a design master on it. So
yeah, we built in a real nice portal where you can manage those subscriptions, so you can distribute them how you want, whether it's your kids that are hunting or your hunting buddies or whoever you want to assign those subscriptions to. You can assign and revoke or whatever as often as you want. So as you're kind of the admin, for lack of a better term, on those group subscriptions. So you can kind of do whatever you want with them. Really nice, area in the desktop app to manage that. So as Matt said, that one's surprised us a little bit. That one wasn't really on the roadmap for for features to build. But again, we really try to listen to you guys, and there was a lot of you that wanted group subscriptions. So that's coming soon, and hopefully you guys will take advantage of that and the
Yep.
discounts there.
Yep, for sure. And then, so that one, that one will come out probably before hunting season really start to kick off. This next one, not sure exactly when it's come out. We were kind of doing some work and testing on it. 3D maps on desktop.
3D
So
maps.
3D maps. So another thing that folks really wanted was 3D maps. That I'm just gonna lay the land here for people so that they kind of understand how this works. So, you know, some other mapping companies have 3D maps. Um, the, the way this works is when you develop one of these apps, you kind of get locked into a platform. All right. And there were really just two platforms. There was Google Maps and Mapbox. Um, Over the last couple of years, Esri has kind of come into play, which some folks might be familiar with. They're big in, kind of the government space and just general like mapping applications. Um, and then, there's some smaller ones like TomTom but as far as it, like most of the consumer applications either use Google Maps or Mapbox. Mapbox very early on got into the 3D game and got into it, well, like they developed features very quickly. We have been on Google. That's why we have, if you see our maps, it's Google Maps, right? And we were intentional about using that because we think imagery is super important and
Superior.
yeah, like Google has just always had superior imagery. Um, but they have been very slow to roll out 3D. And so, we kind of did a custom solution for iOS and had 3D there, but it was like it wasn't full 3D. But Google has finally upped its game. And so now we can integrate 3D maps into desktop. So we're working on that. We're working on making sure that you can interact with your markers on there, your lines, all of your objects, and then I think also we're trying to get it so that you can create and drop new objects. The one thing that they just don't really have support for yet is all of the layers to show up and overlay on your 3D, but there's probably a good chance that we'll roll it out without that, because you could always just switch right back to 2D, see where you kind of are, and then back into 3D to do scouting and stuff like that. So
Yeah, we'll release the 3D on desktop as kind of a like a beta version, and would really like your guys' feedback on that. It should be very similar to what I'm going to age myself, but what we all started on way back when, Google Earth, which is
yeah,
still a great tool, but it should perform and work very similar to Google Earth. So definitely excited to finally have Google working on the 3D.
yeah,
I we've been asked for a while, about 3D, and as Matt said, we just we didn't want to go to a different platform because the imagery is such a big deal to us. It's just not there. So
yeah,
Google imagery, we think, and hopefully you guys will agree that it'll be worth the wait for 3D, both on web and mobile's looking pretty promising as well. So
yeah,
uh,
yeah, yep.
keep an eye out for updates on 3D.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, there's light at the end of the tunnel for mobile too. So we just Google kind of releases things in stages, or releases software, and so it is not stable software on mobile right now. Um, and so we'll wait for them to get some more development done before we start building on top of it,
Yeah.
so that we're not having to rework a bunch of stuff, because our developer time is, needs to be focused on things that aren't going to change.
Yeah.
So so yeah, 3D, we're looking forward to that. Probably a good chance we'll have that rolled out sometime during the hunting season. I don't know when. Is that like September, October, November? I don't know, but yeah, it's coming along. We've tested it internally with what's done, and it's awesome to have it.
Yeah.
So another thing that we're working on that will come out here in another month or two is this kind of a personal one, is AI chatbot.
How excited are you about this, Matt?
I'm pretty pumped, man. My that's kind of like my background, right? Is data and AI, and particularly on like the machine learning and the AI. I have a lot of experience there, which uh, I do use probably more than one would expect. In I've embedded stuff, throughout the back end data processing where I'm using that. But this will be a really nice feature that all of our users will get to see, where it's like, oh, I can ask questions, and it's not like your OpenAI. This isn't your Chat GPT type experience. It's tailored to the hunters, tailored
Yeah.
to hunters. So we've got really good sources that we're using to help our AI produce better answers. So
Yeah, this is a really, really interesting feature. I'm from a totally different era, and AI and all that craziness to me has always kind of been considered the devil, right? Like it's just, oh, I don't want to use it.
yeah,
It's what is it learning about me? Like, it's going to know everything about me, right? And that,
yep,
you know, working with Matt on this feature, that's just not the case. And I've actually learned that it's extremely helpful. And what this feature will do for you guys in the app and centered around hunting is incredible. The just the speed in which you can get information, whether it's hunting regulations or unit information. I mean, it's that fast, and it makes it so easy. I've actually, been testing and using it quite a bit, and have grown to really like it. And that's saying something, because I'm just not that kind of a person. So I know it might be a little bit intimidating to some users, but
hmm
man, when it comes out, try it, because it is really cool, and we are confident that you guys are gonna be addicted to it, really, because I mean, the wealth of information at your fingertips around hunting, not just all the web in general, but specifically to hunting. It's incredible, and we're really excited to get this one out to you guys.
yeah, and it's yeah, well, uh, I'll do a different podcast on
Yeah.
kind of my thoughts on AI, but I think in general, you and I are pretty aligned, Jeff. We're like, when it actually comes down to hunting, we want technology to be in the background, um, like
Yeah.
not in the foreground all the time, right? The less we have to pull out our phones and look at the app and all that type of stuff, probably the better. So ultimately, you know, the goal is like, how can how can we leverage this technology to just get us prepared, and then as prepared as we possibly can, and then that way when we're actually in the field, like we're spending time learning in the field, and you can take some of the knowledge that you learned while you were using this chatbot, which should we release the name? Do we want to say the name?
You better keep that secret.
All right, I'll keep that secret. I'll keep that secret for now. So when we release it, like you'll use it to just educate, and then hopefully when you're out in the field, it's like, oh yeah, now I have a better understanding.
Yeah.
So yeah, we think it'll be good. But we'll see what the user feedback is on it. So
yeah, I think it'll be surprisingly good, because for me, like I said, I'm just not one to use that kind of technology, and I'm finding it like, oh, that's as much easier and faster than trying to go find all this data, and it really makes a difference.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. So that's kind of all the updates plus near term stuff. A little bit about future stuff, although some of this it's fluid. It's fluid.
Yeah.
But other things that we're looking at, like I think we've got the shared vision where we imagine the app BaseMap being like more than ultimately just mapping. We want to do mapping really well, but right now people have to go all over the place for all of the other things that they need for hunting, and to the extent possible, we'd love to have the app kind of help you find the other things that you need, like gear, um, you know, more instruction. Let's say if you're trying to learn, like, how do I prepare better for elk hunting or bear hunting or whatever it might be. So we're kind of looking at other integrations, I'll say.
Yeah, more community activity, sharing each other's wins and losses out in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of a hub of all things hunting, the things you need, but none of the stuff you don't need. We're going to be careful about that. So yeah, just very very hunting focused, obviously, and have a bigger ecosystem of just mapping. So kind of the long-term vision there, and we've done some preliminary work on that, and it's pretty exciting. So
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun working on that stuff. Just as a hunter, bringing all those aspects into one kind of central hub, if you will. Man, it's really cool.
Yep. Yep. It's good stuff. So that's
Yeah.
that's a little peek into the vision. This integration with land trust is kind of a step in that direction. Some of the stuff we're bringing in with the AI is a step in that direction. And then we're looking at some other ways to integrate, so that if you're like, oh, I need gear, or I want to learn, or I want to share, like, how do we do that better in the application? So you don't have to go to 10 different places to do that. So
Yeah. Another thing that I kind of want to throw out to our listeners is the topic of gear drop has come up lately, and
gear drop,
some of
yeah.
you newer users might not know what that is, but some of our long-term users probably know that pretty well, and we'd like to know if you guys would like to see gear drop come back. We kind of took a break from it, but those were always fun. Had some good prizes, and yeah, I would like to know what you guys think on the gear drop game, and see if you'd like to have it come back.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll be curious to see if anybody posts a comment on that, or sends us an email. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Right
Cool.
on. All right. Well, I think we covered it on this one. A lot of stuff to cover
Yeah. A
since
lot
it's
of
been
good
a few
stuff.
months. Yeah, yeah. So anyways, thanks folks for listening to the updates. We'll be coming into hunting season here real fast. So as always, reach out to us either through
Yep.
our, our support. What will be the link on there you can click and book a time with me, or the phone number, and we love to hear from you, talk to you, connect with you. Obviously, social media too. You can hit us up there. So
Yeah. The phone number I'm going to forward right to Matt's cell phone, so feel free to dial that one in.
you got it. You got it.
All right. Thanks, guys.